Adobe in this region has an extensive history. It goes back probably about 800 years. It's a disturbing trend, because it is ironic. This was the housing that everybody lived in. It was the housing that you lived in whether you were Hispanic or Anglo in this region, with very few exceptions. And so the great irony lies in the fact that this thing that was once sort of available to everybody is now becoming housing for the elite.
La Junta de los Ríos, it's where the Rio Conchos and the Rio Bravo meet, and they converge we're probably a couple miles from it. Historically, it's one of the most important places of agriculture in this part of the continent.
After the Spanish came, Adobe became the predominant architectural style of the mestizos, the Mexicans, and has pretty much been so ever since.
Architecture, it is the art form of the people who live in an area. And making adobes is our art form, and it's our life. It's who we are. We are the adobes, especially because it's our expression of a culture.
People, newcomers, mostly Anglos, have decided that Adobe is cool. And because of that, the prices of those Adobe dwellings just skyrocketed. People are being penalized for living in historic structures. They're fantastic homes, but they were always just kind of the standard building method because it just made sense. It worked in this climate, it was relatively easy to do, and now the taxing entities are putting outrageous taxes on these adobe structures simply because of the building material, and that's not the way it ever was and not the way it should be.
Hello, Linis Lorette. I'm waiting for you at the farmer's market. My name is Sandro Cánovas, and I was born in a little pueblito called Mexico City, and I've lived here in this area since 2006.
The prices just were getting too much for people, even rich people,
Well, I've never heard of an adobe for $8 a brick.
I know, but that's what
That's unreal.
I think they even got higher.
We're doing workshops, free workshops on plastering.
Yeah.
If you want to go down and eat some tacos, you should come down.
I don't have a passport though.
You don't need a passport. As long as you don't have a warrant on your white ass, they'll let you back in.
No warrants. No fucking warrants. I haven't been in trouble in fucking 40 years.
Good. Me 40 days. I'm a third generation brick maker. I started noticing that people didn't know anymore how to plaster their houses. The houses were going in a lot of disarray. People have a tremendous addiction to concrete. This tradition of earth building could be lost in this generation.
Muy buenos días, bienvenidos.
Muchas gracias. Buenos días tengan ustedes en este bonito y soleado fin de semana que parece que vamos a tener aquí en la bonita región de la Junta de los Ríos. Esto lo vamos a estar realizando el día de mañana, sábado y el domingo a partir del mediodía en la casa de uno de nuestros adoberos aquí en la comunidad, de don Daniel Camacho. Entonces, el propósito de estos talleres y estas cápsulas radiofónicas que vamos a estar haciendo en los próximos meses es tratar de hacer un poco de labor en recuperar esta tradición del adobe, de los enjarres también, recuperarlos de la memoria colectiva.
My name's Hugo Ramos. I'm from Ojinaga, Chihuahua. I make Adobes for a living. Well, people from the United States, people from here, well, just different people that want to build their own houses. They're giving me a quarter and they're over there charging $2.50.
60 miles north, contractors were selling their adobes for $2.50 when they were getting them here for roughly 25 cents of a dollar. That sound means it's sticking well.
My name is Miguel Mendias. I'm a fifth-generation Marfan. This house has been in my family for generations. I started working on this house full-time a year and a half ago, making it livable again. My house has no plumbing, no wiring, and the walls are in need of repair. The adobe, it hasn't been plastered since 1965, I think. They determined that the value was 37% lower than what they had appraised it at last year. I've watched a lot of property get sold out of my family in Marfa. There were several years that I didn't even want to come to Marfa because it was a bit heartbreaking. It's hard when your family's lived in the same town for 5 or 6 generations to be priced out. And then my grandmother, this is a picture of her when she's 15, and she's posing right in the corner of my yard.
The basic ingredients are clay-rich earth and straw, and that's it. Out of that, you can build a home. It worked in this climate. It was relatively easy to do. Labor was available to do it. The knowledge base was there, a lot of which we've lost. And so the great irony lies in the fact that this thing that was once sort of available to everybody is now becoming housing for the elite. And that's not the way it ever was and not the way it should be, especially in cases where a Hispanic family, for example, maybe in Marfa, have been living there for generations. And suddenly their taxes are skyrocketing such that they can't afford to live there anymore.
People relate adobe to poverty. They are taking this human right that we have to shelter ourselves with mud, with these taxes. I think that little by little, showing the people that they can build again with mud will encourage the people that are most in need in the area to look at the possibility of going back to build with adobe.